welcome to Altering with Melly. I am Melly, your alteration host of the day. Today I have these jeans that are way too long, so we're gonna pop into it and shorten them up. All we're going to need today for the fitting process is our pins and ourselves. A quick little fitting disclaimer: if you've had injuries on either side of your legs or hip, make sure that you pin both legs. I have had an injury on this leg here, so I will be pinning both legs today to make sure that they are even. Usually whenever people do their hems on their legs, they do it like this. That's improper, and it's not going to give you a really good, like, crisp. This is how it's going to look at the end. So you always want to flip it in. Okay, we're flipping it in. That's the goal for today. I like the length of my hem to be shorter, especially since I will also be wearing boots with these as well. So see, it just looks nicer, but it is not at the length that I want it. So, and also if you're hemming your pants and you're doing it on yourself, make sure to stop and do a check like I did there. I think right here. Okay, now at this point, I think I have my hem where I want it. It looks really short, but again, I'm gonna have it on the shorter side, and the length will drop once I stand up. So make sure you pin in the front, taking another pin, and I'm pinning it in the back. And then voila. See, it looked like it was like all the way up here whenever I was kneeling down, but as I stand up straight, bam, because the pin in the back. I think I want this a tad bit shorter, so I'm gonna make it a tad bit shorter. Da, 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 da. There we go. That's where I want it. So that's just right above my ankle. And again, during the fitting process, make sure you're standing straight up. And again, I had an injury to this leg, so I'm also going to pin this leg. A little too high. And there we go. Now we're just going to sew it up. Okay, so I'm bringing you over to the machine today, but for these jean hem, I'm going to show you what you can do if you don't have thick thread. So I'm going to bring you over here. I have these two threaded here. All right, I have these two different threads. They're just regular old, what you would use for anything else. And I have this thread that's already threaded in the machine. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to knot this all together. Okay, and this will double up the thread. Now for jeans, you want to make sure that you have a thick needle in. Okay, so you're just going to pull that through, and in some areas, like right here, there's tension, which is okay. You want to have that. You just pull that through. Okay, and then I'm going to keep the black for underneath, but I'm just going to go ahead and put this through my eye. It's 16 in. All right, and then here is also, well, I guess if you have an industrial machine, here is a quick little tutorial on how to easily thread and also change your needle. I'm going to put my needle over here because I'll be using it again. And for industrial machines, you'll see that the needle has this little curve on this side and the straight line on this side. That's how you want it to go in whenever you put it in. And then we'll just tighten that up. And there you go. Because for regular home machines, usually it's the flat facing forward and the bump is in the back. And And for industrial machines, it's a little different. Boop, there we go. All right, now we're over here to the pants. Now, whenever you go to measure your hem, if there should only really be a 1/2 inch difference, whether it be a 1/2 inch longer on one side than the other, that is normal. That's normal. So if you see that, don't freak out. So where I have the pins is my front back, my back. I'm gonna take my chalk and just gonna mark it on all 4 points. Okay. Now that we have those 2 points marked, the best way to do this is to go ahead and have your pants like this. That's how you want to lay them out. I'm pulling out all the extra. Alrighty. Now we just got to measure what is going on. Alright, so here's my front, since I have it folded in that way. And it is 6 1/4 of an inch up in the front. And in the back, it's 6 1/2. Usually the front tends to be a little lower. So I'm gonna meet them halfway and go 6 3/8 up. But I'm also going to check my other pant leg as well first. See where we're at over here. The back is 6. Oh no, that's 7 inches. All right. Where's the front? Is 6 1/2. You see what I mean? That front was 6 1/4, but the back was 6 1/2. So you know what? Maybe I'll do 6 1/2 just to keep everything even. So what I'm going to do to make this easy peasy, lemon squeezy, I'm going to mark that there, 6 1/2. I'm also going to mark this here, 6 1/2 in the back and in the front. Okay, we're going to match up our points. So that's going to be our end line. So here's to make it a little quicker. I'm going across. I'm going to hold that up like that. And then one more time. That is the end of our hem. Now jeans have a 1/2 inch hem. On your regular sewing machine, where the side seams meet, especially on the inner seam, this is the inner seam, it tends to be a little too bulky. So if you just want to do, actually, you know what, I would recommend 3/4 of an inch. Flip it over and sew it so that you have a little extra wiggle room, because this is a 1/2 inch up. Go ahead and do that. But if your machine can handle the width, you can go ahead and do the full, cut off 1 inch and double fold it and then sew it up. But today I'll go ahead and, for those of you who may not have your machine may not be hardy enough, I'm going to show you what 3/4 of an inch looks like whenever you just fold it over once and sew it up. So there's that, and we're cutting everything together. Okay. It's a whole lot, and your girl here is tiny. So you always want to start sewing on your inseam. This is the inseam. You want to start sewing here so that you can hide it. Now come on over here. Today we have Mr. Sun. Mr. Sun has made an appearance today. We no longer have any rain. I think the last video that I did, it was very rainy and sad. Again, go ahead and pin your stuff. Okay, so to make this easier to sew, flip your pants inside out, and that'll make it easier. This is my inner seam. And yes, this will fray a little bit. If you have a regular home machine, you have that zigzag stitch. You can just zigzag this all up. All right, and then on the machine, there should be a marking for where 1/2 inch is. That's where you want it to go. And so for this, for starters, you don't have to back tack it or anything. And also the stitching tends to be a little wider. So do anything from 3.5 to 4 inches for your sewing stitch length. All right, here we go. And also too, again, feel free to pin where you need to pin. And then we're going to come on back here, and this is where we'll back stitch. Just like that. And that's like one. Tidying up everything. And then, yeah, this will be how it'll look on the inside. So that'll probably fray with age. It should be fine. The stitching line will hold it from fraying any further than that. And then this next leg is just the same process. We're getting the inner seam. We're folding it down. We're going to the 1/2 inch point on our machine. You're also wanting to make sure that you don't go against the grain and go against where the seam allowance is. Go with it. Okay, there's all of that. Make sure you pin everything that you need to have pinned. Don't worry about back tacking that first stitch. All right, and then this is where we'll back tack. And that's it. You have just done your hem. Congratulations. Alrighty, and here we are with the final fit. Da 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 da. That's all she wrote. Thank you for stopping by. See you next time.